it is 354 days until Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. And that gives us just enough time to analyze and break down the second trailer. So far, we have looked at Jason, Lucia, and Cal. Those videos will be in the description. Today, I wanted to look at one of the characters I'm most looking forward to, and that is Brian Heder. Brian is a classic drug runner from the golden age of smuggling in the Keys. Now, what does that mean? We have absolutely no lore, nothing from the actual history of this version of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So we don't know when the golden age of smuggling was in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. But if we take from its real life counterpart, Miami, we can get a bit of information. With a quick Google search, we can see that the golden age of smuggling was in the 70s and 80s in Miami. Why is that, you might ask? Well, there was this drug lord. You may have heard him, you may not. His name is Pablo Escobar. You probably don't know him. Anyway, I have to pronounce that. It says Medellin cartel. Pablo Escobar and that cartel, they had established a cocaine trafficking route in the US, all going through Miami. It says they were smuggling around 40 to 60 kilograms of cocaine to Miami every week via airdrops over the Everglades from small planes, earning around 8 million per month. Now, you need to read that again. It says Everglades. And what else has Everglades? It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Instead of Everglades, they're called the wetlands or grass rivers. So this heavily implies that the golden age of drug smuggling in Vice City would have been around the 70s or 80s. So anyway, back to my point. Brian has been around the Keys from at least the 1980s. He could have been in the 1970s as well. We don't fully know how old he is. If I were to ballpark it just by looking at him, I'd say he's around late 60s, early 70s, could be even mid 60s, I'm not sure. So anyway, how was he able to smuggle all of this drugs, you may ask? It says still moving product through his boatyard with his third wife, Lori. In the trailer, we see that Jason works for a company called Brian's Boatyard and Marina. So if we put two and two together, we know that Brian is in charge of this company, Brian's Boatyard and Marina. Jason and Cal work for him, and realistically that company is a front for drug smuggling. So if we have to take a guess and say Grand Theft Auto 6 is set in, we'll just say 2020 to 2025, we'll say it's set around there, that would mean that Brian has been drug smuggling for around 40-45 years. I hauled so much grass in that plane, I could make the state of Leonida levitate. This again could be a reference to the cartel days in the 70s and 80s, because it said they dropped a lot of cargo using small planes. And if you want even more proof of that, if we look at Cal's little video thing from the website, you actually see it happening. You can see the plane flying over and they drop something out of it. I'm guessing that is the tiny plane they used to get drugs into the country. Brian's letting Jason live rent-free at one of his properties, so long as he helps with local shakedowns and stops by for Lori's sangria once in a while. So Jason lives rent-free in one of Brian's properties. Not only does Brian have like a drug smuggling business and an actual marina business, he also has realistically a lot of properties. It's clear as day he is a serious businessman. He's probably extremely rich, very wise, realistically knows a lot about the drug game. Brian's been around long enough to let others do his dirty work for him. He realistically doesn't do the hard work anymore. He probably doesn't do the actual drug running. He leaves that all to Jason. He might just, get the money from his properties, get the little cut he gets from drug smuggling, but he probably lets Jason do all the hard work. And I think this photo also confirms it. I'm going to take a gamble and say that's Jason in the plane that carries the drugs, and Brian's just kind of like telling him what to do. So yes, that is Brian Heder. Let's dive in a bit more. What kind of person is Brian? Very clearly a businessman. He's been around long enough. My guess is that he's already made his millions, so he's kind of living a cushy life now, like still making money off of his properties and realistically through his marina business, but being a lot more relaxed. Probably very wise. More than likely he taught Jason everything he knows about the drug game. What is Brian's motivation? I think this is very simple. Money. Of course. He's been a drug runner since the 70s and 80s. It's a risky game, man. I'm guessing if you were to get caught doing that kind of shit, you'd either get killed by like rival gangs or something like that, or people trying to steal it from you, or else, if you get caught, you're going to prison. Something must have kept him there. It could have been, the adrenaline. You get a lot of adrenaline doing this kind of thing. It's kind of like Michael in Grand Theft Auto 5. he also mentioned a lot that, like, you know, the adrenaline was fantastic. But of course, the money was also ridiculously good. So I think that's what really kept him going, was the money. And you know, as I've said already, his properties, like the marina, more money, drug smuggling, more money, properties, more money. So I think his motivation is purely money. Who is Brian close to? What we know is that Brian has had 3 wives, Laurie being his most recent one. He's obviously close to her. Jason lives rent-free on one of Brian's properties. Now, this is clearly a business decision. Jason does the drug running for Brian. He also gets Brian's money if people don't pay him. But I honestly think Brian actually cares for Jason a small bit. But this is pure speculation once again. So as I said, Jason does an awful lot for Brian. And I know it's all work, but he does the drug running. He probably helps a lot in the marina. He fights people to get his money for Brian. I think he cares about him. And the reason I think why is because if you look at this quote, it says, Brian's letting Jason live rent-free at one of his properties. So as long as he helps at local shakedowns and stops by for Laurie's sangria once in a while. The sangria bit has me believe that they've known each other for a long time. It's like, here man, can you call down there? Like, you know, we'll have a couple of beers or whatever, that kind of way. So maybe it's more like the son I never had kind of deal or something like that. He's also close to Cal because Cal works for him as well. And I'm going to say he knows Lucia. When he says they've got everything.
They got your name, address, they got everything.
They know everything. I'm guessing he knows who Lucia is. Again, I'm guessing, I'm speculating. But like what it looks like he's saying is, here man, you and Lucia are caught and they know everything. And the reason I think that is because they have another quote that says they've been caught up in one of the biggest criminal schemes in America or something like that. So would I say he's close to Lucia? Maybe, I don't know. What is Brian's role in the story? My guess is that he is the man that knows people. Once again, we go back to this scene.
They got your name, address, they got everything.
So how does he know that? He clearly knows people, like whether he knows people in the police force or if it's a rival gang or something, he knows that they're after them. Brian also, as I've said, has the drug running business, so that clearly is a huge part in the story. I mean, it could be something as simple as they messed with the wrong people, they stole drugs when they shouldn't have, a drug run went wrong, someone died, and that sparks the whole story. What does Brian represent? I think Brian represents wisdom. I think Brian would be the man who knows people, who can get things done, who can help you out if the price is right. Brian will no doubt be an extremely important character in Grand Theft Auto 6. So that is my character breakdown of Brian Heder. Really hope you enjoyed. I really hope you learned something. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.